A few notes about this episode. We didn't originally plan to release this conversation as a podcast episode, but the insights shared were too powerful not to publish. You'll hear from international entrepreneurs visiting Kansas City through Global Ties KC and the United States State Department's International Visitor Leadership Program. Together, we explored how entrepreneurship is reshaping cultures, creating opportunity through access, and pushing back against systemic barriers around the world. This is a live recording, so you'll notice some ambient noise, but we think you'll agree the substance far outweighs the sound. Thank you for listening.
Tonight we're joined by 22 international leaders. If you're wondering what you've walked into, if you're a regular guest here at Sessions, visiting Kansas City through the U.S. Department of State's International Visitor Leadership Program in partnership with our good friends at Global Ties KC. These guests represent entrepreneurship and innovation from every corner of the world, from China to Malawi, from Iraq to Germany. Yeah. I'll get it, I'll nail it. And we're honored to host them here tonight, and we're honored to have this conversation because this is more than startups. This is definitely a conversation about how entrepreneurship shapes culture, how it creates opportunity, and certainly how it connects us across borders and shows more of the similarities that we have versus the differences. So let's get started. I want to start, this is a question for all of you actually. Each of you works at the intersection of entrepreneurship and community impact in your very different parts of the world. What was the first moment that made you believe this work, building businesses or supporting entrepreneurs, was your call? Well, yeah, let's start with you.
All right. So for me, it was the time I was working in the bank. So I had a corporate job working in FDH Bank. And there was a time when the bank bought another bank, and then they had to do retrenchments. And that made me realize that, oh, so at any point in life, you can really have a great job and then just lose it. And what do you have? So I started thinking around, what else can I do to ensure that next time this retrenchment happens and it affects me, I have something else to look up to. So I tried different ideas, and it was really hard. Honestly, it was so hard. Especially for Malawi, because it's not easy for a young person to start a business. You don't really have a platform to go to and really just talk to someone or engage with the community of entrepreneurs that will actually probably inspire you or even direct you a certain opportunity that can actually amplify your journey. So that's the time I started thinking around, okay, so if I'm facing all this drama, all this challenge as a young woman, as a young entrepreneur, how many others are going through the same? And I started talking to a lot of young people, a lot of entrepreneurs across the communities, and obviously they will tell the same story. So I was really inspired to do what we're doing right now, which is me being at the center of driving transformation, not just for me, but the entire community with me.
You see about it?
I'm still thinking about it, to be honest. Always translated from German into English, so it's difficult for me to but mine is a little bit more, political. I don't know how, but I learned this morning today there are a few things that we shouldn't say in the US. But
It's a safe space here.
It's a safe space, okay. But for me, it started as, so my parents are from Ghana, and growing up in Germany for me was always a place where I saw that there's a lot of opportunity. And because, it's a welfare state, so education and healthcare system is well provided. So when I was thinking, okay, what can I do to do something better than my parents did? And then I observed Germans very, very, very well. And I thought, okay, the way to go for myself is to excel in business. At some point. And then also me to excel in business as a person who looks like me, I think will have a much bigger impact than somebody else. And so that's why I started getting like a group of 7 people and asked them, guys, I started as a community center. I started something like this, much smaller, like with 7 people. And with the idea, first of all, to find innovative talents, and then give them the lunch that they have. Anyways, fast forward, it just moved. I never had the idea to create something big. It just happened. It just, you get one brand, and then you get another partner, and all of a sudden we had Google as a partner. Then we had, so if you have Google as a partner, you can't stop. Then we had LinkedIn as a partner, and you have Google and LinkedIn, keep going, right? So that's how it started, and then we grew it bigger and bigger and bigger. And at some point, I was like, you see, it has to stop just being a community impact, and now let it become something professional, something profound, something bigger and more stronger. And that's how I actually really went into the entrepreneurship scene. And I learned, I studied entrepreneurship through, and then I was a consultant. I was an agile coach for 7 years, and learned everything about modern working, how to prototype, how do you set up a team, how do you lead a team. So I was learning how to run a business from within in terms of processes and team management. And then on the other side, I just became an entrepreneur myself. And my brother and me, we have a West African restaurant in Germany. I know it's a lot that I'm here, but at some point you will get my profile. So that's where I was learning entrepreneurship practically. And as a consultant, I was learning how to run a business from within. And that's how all of this just came together. And now I'm doing it professionally and get like the practical skills. So I always say, I never talk about theory. I always talk about my experience.
Application.
Application. Yeah.
So what about you? What was the moment where you realized this was your calling?
When it comes to entrepreneurship for me, really, from the early age, my father is a mechanic, so from an early age during summer, always I was just going to work with him, but I never knew what is entrepreneurship. Even until I attended college, during summer I was working in many different businesses, but still I never heard about entrepreneurship. What is it? Even I graduated college, still I never heard about the concept. But we know what is business, we know how to work, we know how to start a business, but we didn't know what is entrepreneurship. Even after I graduated, I really tried hard to find a job to get employed by any organization, by a school. I tried for more than a month just delivering CVs to many different schools, but I never got hired. Then I directly went back to my home country, and I just started my own business, which is just opposite to my father. I just opened a shop and selling spare parts of cars, because from an early age I was in this business. But even until this, until now, I never heard about entrepreneurship. Even for more than a year and a half, I was in business. I was just selling products, many marketing skills I had, and even it was a very successful business. But then suddenly I just quit. I just left that job and just became a teacher. I never know about what is entrepreneurship even after I left the job. Until 2018, I received a scholarship from Germany. It's funded by the AiDiA. Then in Germany, I just entered this entrepreneurship context. Then I learned what is entrepreneurship and what is entrepreneurship education. So from here, I learned the importance of entrepreneurship especially in developing countries. Which, if I talk about my country, usually Kurdistan region is a very rich region with oil. So it was the only source for the government to depend on. But from 2015 and so on, the government tries to diversify the economy. So from there, entrepreneurship starts to emerge. Even the consulates of many other countries, they start to provide funds, accelerator programs, incubators to foster entrepreneurship education. And that's how, after we came back from Germany, we established a center in our university so we can academically, from an early age, teach our young generations what is entrepreneurship. Not just like mine after even graduation, I never heard about entrepreneurship. What is it? So that's how my journey starts to teach entrepreneurship.
How about you?
Hey, okay. Thank you, Kevin. Myself, and I believe my IVOP friends and everyone that all the folks here attend in this event, I believe there's a common ground for us. We don't settle for being common. We want to excel. We want to be different. We believe that we should achieve something more than the status quo. And I believe that is one of the most important character or value an entrepreneur should have. And this is Baocase, this company, this is my fourth try. I failed 3 times before in Taiwan. I failed 3 times. I always dreamed of big, and then many things. I always have, ideas on the social problems. For example, my first startup is a volunteer platform. It is good. The idea is good. Like we connect all the NGOs, NPOs with all the students and all the everyone in the society within that. It was back in 2012. Okay, I got it when I'm in university students. But that is a very big failure because there's no profit business model in it. I cannot profit from any kind of imaginable ways from that app. Okay, so I failed 3 times just because I really want to do something, and this is my first try. Every time I tried, I learned something from my failures, every time. For example, there's no business model, so I try something that could be profitable. And then I find out that self-funding is not enough, so I try to expand my capabilities on finding venture capitals. So every time I try to learn something from my failures and try to do something more. And that makes my life very busy, very frustrating. And many of my friends are, saying things that, why don't you quit? Just find a job. I find it very interesting. I find that I'm enjoying this kind of life. And that is the moment when I find out that perhaps this is my destiny. I should be an entrepreneur, not because it's going to make money or something. It's just because I like the way of life like this.
I'm amazed that people don't think I'm amazed that people don't think entrepreneurship is a job. Right? It's a crazy thought. Lucy, for you, you've been focused on creating opportunities for the Afro-German community through your work. How do you see entrepreneurship reshaping cultural identity and inclusion in Germany, and what barriers are there still to be overcome? We're jumping straight into the big question.
Yes, that was good. Can you repeat the entire, it was a long question as well.
Absolutely. The work that you're focused on with your community in creating opportunities, how do you see entrepreneurship reshaping cultural identity, inclusion, and what barriers does those people in?
Yes. So when I started AiDiA, I always have a few sentences that guide me, and one is that I always think of what makes an entrepreneur so successful. Why do they look so successful? Do they have something that I do not have? And I realized at some point that extraordinary people are only ordinary people that do ordinary things extraordinarily well. And at some point I was like, okay, if that's the case, if these are also just ordinary people and they do things extraordinarily well, what do we need to do? And you need to become an expert in whatever you do. And so with this in mind, I broke my barriers of all the barriers that I think I have. And I always say my starting line was not that I didn't start at the same starting line as other people, so I used to do twice or double 3 times as much. But these barriers can be overcome. And how can you overcome? People don't like if you are the best in the world. People don't like if you are don't like, that's the wrong translation, sorry, but you become interesting, let me put it that way, you become interesting when you are very good at something. You become very interesting when you have innovative ideas. So this is how I looked at it, and then I looked at the second thing which is you can't be what you can't see. So we need more people that can be what you want to be. So increase the visibility of people who could be successful, but they don't have the visibility. So knowing that you need the expertise, knowing that you need to maybe work harder, but also knowing that you need to increase the visibility, that's how I thought we can shape and change the cultural landscape in Germany. And so we need to see more women. We need to see more neurodiverse people in entrepreneurship. We need to see more people of color, because the only thing that sets people apart is just the access all the time. Nobody is smarter, nobody's better. It's just, I always say, somebody just had more access. And so my task is to to be a bridge and make people access the things that make other people successful, which is access to network, which is access to funding, and which is access to knowledge. And with this access, and when we increase the visibility, and then also personally develop, become self-confident, I think that's how we can shape the cultural engineering in Germany. That's what I do at least.
I gotta make a confession. They were here earlier. We were having a conversation about some of the work we were doing, and I made a comment about the root of all entrepreneurship, the things that entrepreneurs need is access to capital, access to talent, access to resources. And I looked out there was somebody sitting at a table nodding. And
It was me.
And it was you. And now I understand exactly why.
Exactly, because that's how it's talking. That's what I say. We find talent. We so it's in German, like it's three F's. We find talent. We support talent, and then we release them to the economy. That's like our 3 F's. So it was the same thing.
Yeah, that is amazing. Wangiwe, for you. You are in Malawi. You are connecting entrepreneurship with digital inclusion and youth employment. What cultural shifts have you seen as more young people pursue business ownership versus employment?
Right. So Malawi has over 70% of the population being comprised of young people. And that's also the population that has a bit of a high unproductivity. And that actually comes from the lack of employment, obviously, because there's minimal private sector development, which leads to a minimum number of jobs available for everyone to be consumed. And every year we're graduating as well about 50,000 young people out of university. And where do they go next? So at this point, everyone is thinking, what else can I do? Because obviously there are no jobs. So that's where there's that big shift to, okay, probably I can be self-employed, or I can actually join the bandwagon with another young person, and we can start up a business that we work together, and then it grows into something meaningful. But that's also where they now start facing barriers, because the government is not very intentional with entrepreneurship, despite the fact that there's a lot of opportunity in the country. To see that we've been highly dependent on aid. And with the very recent shift with USET, where we're now looking at from aid to the business space now, that's where we have now seen that the growing interest in understanding, okay, so how do we make good use of this population? And recently they launched what is called the Youth Innovation Fund, just to ensure that they're investing in the young people's ideas, and it's basically ensuring that every young person becomes interested in getting the idea and getting linkages to what can actually amplify that idea to come to life. But also the ecosystem is very nascent, so you find that about 27% of the entire population is what has access to internet. So that's like very, very low, like pretty low. When you look at most of the African countries. So that's why the intersection between entrepreneurship and the work we do with youth employment and digital inclusion comes in. Because what we do is we establish technology and innovation spaces across communities where these young people that actually want to try out their new ideas, bring them to life, can actually come to, co-create, engage with different other fellow young people or industry experts, and ensure they're getting mentorship and coaching, as well as also access to resources and opportunities. But at the same time, they have to also have access to incubation and acceleration of those businesses. And then we brought in the investment fund, which is there to also provide the patient capital. Hoping that I can use the word patient, because it's at a stage where you take the risk in them and ensure that they have that first time investor, so they can actually grow that investment after they are able to get a yes from you, because it's also really hard for them to go and speak to a bank. But over the course of time, we see that the bigger challenge is also with family, so how we are raised. And we've been looking at the culture at home. How is family supporting these young people? How are they also ensuring that as they go to school, maybe even in the schools, we can start introducing entrepreneurship. So recently, we've also started engaging the government to ensure that they can incorporate STEM but also entrepreneurship within the curriculum. And it's probably going to take a while, but it's something that we believe that if it starts from the mainstream level, it will basically be helpful for a child to grow into a young adult and an adult knowing entrepreneurship already and improving their culture from both the educational front but also the household level. So that shift is there, and it's really crucial at this stage to ensure that the ecosystem is very supportive, and that's where most of the work we do really helps in enabling that ecosystem to thrive. Thank you.
Sirwan, how about you? You teach entrepreneurship in a university setting, so what cultural attitudes towards entrepreneurship are you emerging amongst young people in Iraq? And how do you help them shift from the mindset of employment to innovation and entrepreneurship?
As you know that after we realized that how important is entrepreneurship, and also because from an early age, like even within the education, we think that we lack such a thing, increasing awareness about entrepreneurship. So the only thing is that we have to start from an early age. We have to teach, suddenly you just enter and tell the people that you have to start your own business instead of becoming employed. It's really hard to start because everyone is seeking to get stable jobs, to get stable income. So that's why we thought that we have to start from an early age. So the young generations, when from primary schools, secondary schools, these are the new generations that are coming to universities and that are entering the market. So we have to disseminate an entrepreneurial spirit, and we have to plant it within their mind from an early age. So that's how we thought that now we have a very big responsibility, and we have to deliver this spirit into schools. So we started teaching this module at university because our students are going to become future teachers in schools. This is how the idea started.
Gotcha. Tao, for you, you launched Baocase to help connect gig workers to job opportunities. How do you build trust in this marketplace between gig workers and small business owners, which is really the other side of your marketplace? How does that work for you, and how do you try to shape that?
Very good question, because as you know, Chinese society for the past few decades we are lacking social trust. And many aspects on the different society, we are making frauds or many scams. But what I'm trying to do is to build a small society in my platform, which to make the ecosystem better. First of all, we rate double-sided ratings. They rate each other, just like Uber drivers, just like Airbnbs, right? We rate each other, and then I have a credit system. Just like your driver's license, when you do something wrong, you have some records on it, and so the credit system that records all this their interactions on the platform. And the third thing is that I'm building a ecosystem that we encourage all our workers to be nice. For example, they should book a gig worker shift ahead of the time. But not instantly. For example, they should be earlier to be at the place they should to work. So those are all the rules I built up during the years. Over the years, there's many incidents and accidents happens on platform, but we try to build rules on it. That is the most important part, because many people will misunderstand a internet platform company. They say that the most hard part is the R&D, is the coding, but that is not the hard part. Programming is now essential skills for almost everyone. So programming is not that hard. The really difficult part is to build rules, is to make operations that let everyone, all stakeholders in this ecosystem trust, and that is what we have done. The platform, right? In this month, we have exceeds 98% of the completion rate. What does it mean? It means every company, every business that have orders on our platform, 98 out of 100, there will be a worker book that work, the shift, and then they will be there and they will complete the work. More than 98%. I always post these numbers because It's even higher than most companies' full-time workers. They always have many reasons for them to not show on the work. And for example, there's a very interesting mechanism I will share with you. I believe that work shifts is a resource. Human is a resource that could be shared, just like Airbnbs, right? That could be shared. So if you book a work and you're not showing, they will I will minus your credit points and your ratings, and you really preserve that. You really see this as very important. So you're not prone to cancel a work very easily. But if you really had a thing that you cannot be there, you could add a more how would I say? You could add more money into it, just like a tips, and sell it out. Sell this work out on a plaza for others to take your work, and the one that actually be there at the end to complete the work will get paid from that store owner and from the one who originally booked this work that have paid the extra tips. So I made work shifts just like or gig works just like a resource on a stock market. You can trade it easily. These are the mechanisms that reflects my idea on how we should work. Just like I want to be different, right? I believe everyone wants to be. And I believe this kind of work freely to accept one or to cancel one. Or today you work, tomorrow you sleep at home. This kind of free liberty is the way we to go. Okay, this is the tomorrow we are building today. And I believe that being entrepreneurship or being a new generation worker is not about being different. It's about we desire and we devoted to be different. So that kind of mentality is all my users. They all have this mentality and they join this community. We have a community in our platform, and they discuss from the start. They'll discuss this work is easy. That boss is bad. Is bad tempered. Okay. But after a few years of operation, they are now discuss like. How is the platform can be scaled or copied to different cities, and may he or she is just one of our users can join our platform to promote this kind of ideas. So this is why I believe entrepreneurship is really important because for example in English word, what's the difference between a person who is smart with someone who's intellectuals? I believe intellectuals in a society have social responsibilities. That is a big difference. Just like knights in medieval era. Okay, people we know things more than most of the common people in the society in general. We have more responsibilities to push the society forward in general, and that is, I believe, what social enterprises is about. Thank you.
So, let me ask all of you who support entrepreneurs. We always talk about entrepreneurship as operating without a safety net, and you're supporting people that are actually looking to take more risks. Many times it's probably something that is new in many of the cultures that you're working in or any of the communities that you're working in. So what is the piece of advice that you give to someone who's starting their entrepreneurial journey? What's that one piece of advice that you kind of cling to where you get somebody to understand that it's okay to take that risk and get them forward with their dream, with their business?
Okay, I'll be short. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, I forget to mention something. Okay, I forgot to mention. My platform is not only for the people who want to take challenges. We also, because every internet-based business is for general public. That is the way to go for internet business. So the users on my platform, they have no social security or there's something equivalent in China. Okay, we have no social security. But what if they have injuries or accidents? So we have built out a insurance system. From the start, we cooperate with insurance company, but insurance company are not the one who innovate a lot. Okay? They are not accepting our ideas on just tapping a click on a phone app that start to start their insurance. And they are not comfortable with this kind of ideas. There's the traditional insurance company always thinking that I'm frauding them, I'm scamming them. Okay, because those are digitized data in an Excel sheets. What I'm doing is now getting licensing from Chinese government to start our own insurance business on gig workers, just to service my users. And this is kind of thing I believe what entrepreneurs should do. We're not just do the things we want to do. We do the things for our users, for our supporters, and for those who believe in our beliefs. And we do things for them. And with living in that kind of mentality makes us very rich and fruitful every day. That is really the sense of achievement. And that sense of achievement is the motivation on our, we entrepreneurs. And I believe that all of us have that kind of, a small, seed in our heart. And I believe that every seed will be grown into a big tree.
All right. What piece of advice? Yes, back to the question.
Sorry.
What piece of advice? No, let's start here. What's the one piece of advice you give to entrepreneurs who are starting this risky journey on their own?
Alright, so a piece of advice for me is be bold, be aggressive, as well as be calm at the same time, depending on the situation. Be consistent. Consistency really helps you to grow. And the last is keep learning. I always have a rule to learn and relearn. It really helps as an entrepreneur. Thank you.
Lucy?
I have so many tips to give actually advice. But when people ask me, I always focus on two sides. First, on the motivational side. First of all, it's hard out here being an entrepreneur. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. So I always say that courage is having fear but doing it anyways. And that's what entrepreneurship is about a lot of uncertainty but still doing it. And so that's why I always give the advice that winners are those that continue where the others stop. Yeah? And the winners, they keep going. And so also every heavy door just needs a very small key, right? Doesn't matter if it's a big door or a small door or heavy or light. Every door just needs a small key. And what's the small key to entrepreneurship? And then this way I give the people the advice to be very, very structured about entrepreneurship. I don't believe in just starting anything. Most people that I see have an idea and a passion, and then they think everybody else has that passion as well. Entrepreneurship is about having an innovative idea, something innovative, and getting money for it. And how do you get money for it? If many people buy it from you. How do you get many people buying things from you? It has to be of high value to many people. So it's not about what you think the market needs. It's not about what you think it's fancy, or it's not about what you think. So I have so many people say, I want to launch this cream. I think this AI will be amazing. I said, have you asked the people? You never decide what's going to be successful. It's the market that decides. So in order to be a successful entrepreneur, to make profit, start with a prototype and then just work your way up. Always keep getting feedback from the market and then make your product more valuable. And the more valuable your product is, the more money you can get for it. And that's how I look at entrepreneurship. That's the advice that I give.
That's great advice, by the way. It's about creating value, not solving problems.
Yes.
If you're not creating value, there's no exchange that can occur.
So Ron, I want to change the question slightly for you. As an educator, as a mentor, and as a program leader, what's the one mindset that you're trying to instill in every student who wants to start something on their own?
Usually we are helping our students to not only thinking about getting employed and also not only getting stable jobs. We are teaching them that we are giving them more career options. Like even after graduation, For example, if you are about to become a scientist, about to become a teacher, but also you have other career options. You can start your own business. And always we are reminding them that becoming an entrepreneur is not an easy journey, because it means more responsibilities, it means less and more working hours, it means less free time, it means sacrifice. You have to do a lot of sacrifice, but always we are reminding them that this is all going to be for a short period of time. Later on, becoming an entrepreneur is going to be the source of happiness for you, because then later on in the future you are going to create more opportunities for others. That's what always we are teaching them. This is what always we are reminding them.
Let me ask you guys, if there's one part of the startup ecosystem in your country that you could redesign, whether it's funding access, mentorship, regulation, what would you change first and why? I'll start with you.
I got a lot to say in this question because China's systems.
That's surprising.
China's startup system is broken, but I'll be short. The best thing would be, leave the market by itself. But in my country, market is driven by the state. Okay, but that is not always a good choice. Okay, it brings a phenomenal speed of development, but it destroys many other good ideas that are not aligned with the state. Right? So I believe that if it's saying a suggestion to my country, then I would say that leave the market alone. It should be free trade and let ideas flow by itself. And because the capital will choose, just like what Lucy said, capital will make most efficient out of itself. Okay, it will go gain profit. It will grow by itself. That should be that's the way China should go.
So what would you change?
For my country, I think that there should be more policies for startups to start. Always they're going to sit in a group like they are a company, even in terms of registration. And also there should be some exceptions in taxes, and also give them access to resources and funds. This is one of the most important things. You have to make their journey easier, because they are starting from the beginning. So it's not easy for them to access market. It's not easy for them to access capital. So there should be more policies about making their journey easier. That's what I really think that we have to work on it.
Yes, I would highlight two things. In Germany, I would start in our educational system. I think in our educational system, the German system is very much on engineering, on processes, on structures. But I don't know who said, I think it was Albert Einstein who said, knowledge is good, but fantasy is better. And I think we lack fantasies and then to dream and to have good ideas and to dare to dream big. In Germany, we like to dream. We don't like to dream. We just like to be very sharp on things. And on the second hand once the ideas flow, other thing I would change is to have more people who are less risk adverse in saying more capital. So for big tickets. In Germany, you say if you have a 1 million ticket, people are like, wow, 1 million. And in the US, 1 million is nothing. And so I would love us to have bigger tickets when it comes to investments and to scale those ideas, and to not have a failing culture when you fail, and rather have a fail fast culture. And if you haven't failed 3 times in business, then you're not a real entrepreneur. In general, it's like when you fail once, don't try again.
I do not like the word fail when it comes to entrepreneurship. I think they're all learning experiences.
Yeah.
So you have to keep learning, and that's the one way you do that is experimentation. What we would refer to as failure. So, what would you change in the entrepreneurial ecosystem?
Okay, so I think for me, similar to see 2 things. The first is put some structure to the entire ecosystem and make sure that there's collaboration at the center. So we do have some of the best policies that sometimes some of the African countries copy from, and we don't really implement them because everyone is doing everything separately, and then we end up realizing 5 years goals, and that project probably wasn't sustainable, this one wasn't sustainable. So obviously, if we bring some structure and collaboration, it will really help to ensure that this sticks to this and then this goes here and everything is really working well. And the second part is the mindset, especially for the people. Yeah, everyone just has to be ready. We ask for too much, but when everything comes, it's like our mindset is also going the wrong direction. So obviously, we need to ensure that people are ready, both from the investment angle and the knowledge front, and ensuring that we're really looking forward to putting any investments to good use and making sure there's results.
So each of you is building something that reflects your country's future, reflects the opportunity. In one sentence, what does that look like if your work that you're doing succeeds? I'll start with you.
I believe I'm rewriting employment itself, and I believe that we should give dignity back to workers, which is very lacking in most Asian places. Okay, and so I believe with the future, people should be more freer. And we should determine by ourselves what kind of job we take, what kind of terms we should accept. And that would, fundamentally change what China is, which is factories of the world. That is one of my dreams, and that causes the most honor to me is not from the Chinese government, it's from overseas. For example, the Forbes 30 under 30 of China. I was listed on it. That's all, mostly Eastern, Western media. That is a problem we are facing, but also that's a dream we are dreaming.
Just can you repeat the question?
So you're building something that reflects your country's future. So in one sentence, tell me, what does that future look like if the work that you're doing succeeds?
We think that's all about the mindset. I think that we can just change even one of the things that families are not supporting. For example, if I decide to start a business, it's hard for families to supporting us. They are saying, just keep your job. You have a stable income. You get a monthly salary. That's it. So what else do you need? So we think that if we get successful, we can change such a mindset. So later on, we do not, the entrepreneurs do not start their journey alone. So they have support from families, they have support from the surroundings. That's what we believe.
Lucy?
So in one sense it's more difficult, but I think what I'm trying to do is that when you say the word Germany, that the people here in the room will not think about the Mercedes, not the BMW, or not about the bread or the sausage in Germany, but maybe think of Germany as an innovative hub, a powerhouse, a place where you think, oh my God, actually I shouldn't go to Silicon Valley, I should go to Germany Valley. Putting Germany on the global map of innovation and building its reputation in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation.
Okay, and for me, it's individuals and communities that are thriving and being able to demonstrate self-reliance, knowing that there's equitable access to opportunity, there's businesses growing and creating jobs, and there's definitely development around all the communities in Malawi as well as Southern Africa.
Each of you are doing amazing work. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your stories, for sharing your journey with us. I appreciate it, and I know the audience appreciates it. So everybody give them a round of applause.